All right, now that we've learned how to control the character palette, we've talked a little bit about color. We should also talk about some things like how you actually control the path that your type is setting on. And so, if you go to your text tool over in the toolbar over here on the left, and you click on it and hold, you're going to see that there's several, like six actually, seven, excuse me, seven different ways that you can control text before you even type it in. And we're actually going to put text on a circle. So we're going to be using the type on a path tool, but we won't be using it just yet because first we have to draw ourselves a circle. So we're going to go down on the toolbar to where the shapes are. So I'm going to click on this, select the ellipse tool. Now I'll click kind of sort of in the middle of my page, just like that. And I'm going to change the width to 5 inches, and it just assumes that it's 5, and the height to 5 inches. And I'll say OK. And then it just gives me a circle that's 5 by 5. Now I'm going to swap things out a little bit. First of all, I want a line that's yellow, and I really don't want to fill. So I'm going to just make a yellow line. Now you can make your line whatever color you want, but we just have to basically build a ring so that we have something to put our text on. And I'm going to now make this ring or line fairly large, and rather than click on it all day long, I'm going to just go right to the chase and make it 60 points. So if you look up here in my options bar, I have nothing for a fill. I have a yellow, orangey yellow stroke, I guess, and then the size of the stroke is 60 points. Now that I've got that, I'm going to go up to Object and say Expand. When I expand this, now I've gotten a yellow ring. I can put things behind it, it'll show up on the other side, but that's another lesson. We're not going to worry about that too much right now. The important thing is we have a ring. Now, if we use the text tool and we don't have this lockdown, if you just go grab the type on a path tool and you click over here, it will not want to type on this path because it's a compound path. However, if I had a yellow circle out here, as soon as I get close to this with my type on a path tool, it takes the yellow away and sticks lorem ipsum on that outline. So you want to be careful that if you have any artwork or anything laying out here before you use the type on a path tool, you have it locked down so that you don't have to worry about it accidentally becoming part of a text path. So now with this ring selected, I'm going to lock it. And the quick key for locking something is Command 2. Or if you're on a PC, it would be Control 2. So Command 2 for the Mac people and Control 2 for the PC people. And again, that only works if you have something selected. It won't work otherwise. Now we have to make a path for this text to actually set on when we do it. And if you have a fill, that's okay, but it kind of makes it tough to line things up. So once again, I'm going to turn my fill off up here in the options bar. Then I'm going to go over to my line, and because yellow is what the ring is, I'm going to use purple as my line. So I'll have a purple stroke, and I really don't care how big that stroke is because once we start typing on it, the text tool is going to wipe out all that information anyway. But for right now, I need to see so that I can align it properly. Now I'm going to go back to the shape, to the ellipse, click on that so it's highlighted, and then just kind of begin to move around in the center of this shape that I made. Even though it's locked, I'm getting alerts telling me when I'm in the center. And when I get close to the center, I get a red little word center. So I'm moving off. I'm going to go back to the center. Yep, that's right where I want to be. So be patient and just kind of wander around out there. You will find it. It'll flash up at you. Now, in order to draw a perfect circle that lines up with this ring that I have, I'm going to hold down the Option key. So that means I will draw my circle when I hold down the Option if you're on a Mac, or Alt if you're on a PC. If I hold down Alt, Option, it will, whatever I draw, draws from the center of that object rather than from the upper left, or yeah, upper left corner or lower left, however you draw. I'm also going to hold down the shift key so I get a perfect circle. So with my cursor positioned over the center, I'll just start drawing. And I want that circle to just cross over the inside of that ring a little bit. If you look at my blue line before I drop this, you'll see right like that. And then I release my mouse first, and then the shift option or alt second. Okay, and that is pretty darn well lined up. Now I'll go over to my text tool, which should be on type right now. I'll move it down to type on a path. And if you look at the cursor for this type on a path, you're going to see that there's like a wavy line that runs through the cursor itself. That wavy line is where you want to position your cursor before you click on anything. So I've got the wavy line in the cursor kind of lined up over this line that I just drew. I'm going to click with my mouse, and now it fills in with lorem ipsum. So this first part of it, I'm going to put in my name. Oops, looks like I added a space there. And I'm going to select it all by going Command or Control A, and that selects everything on the line. And then I'm going to change this back to that Helvetica because I like that a lot better than the font I've got. Helvetica bold, like that. And now I'm going to make this bigger so that I've got an equal distance between the bottom of my name and this inside ring and the top of my name and the outside ring. So with this selected, I'll go Command or Control T to get up my character palette, and then I'll just use the up arrow button to make that bigger. Now there comes a point where I have to be careful about my descenders. If you take a look at like where this Y is and where this G is, and maybe you've got some descenders in your name, you're going to have to watch out for that too. So with my selection tool, not with my text tool, but with my selection tool, if I grab one of these outside corners and hold down my Option key and my Shift key, I can pull this out just a little bit to get those ascenders off that center line, that inner line. So we'll just bring those up just a little bit. So now I've got my name on the circle. Now when I click on this, again, not with the text tool, but with the selection tool, if I click on this, I have some little controls that allow me to position my name anywhere I want to on the circle. And first of all, just to be able to position it in the center, I'm going to go up to the options bar up here by the word paragraph and choose the center alignment. When I did that, it put my name down here. The main thing that you have to remember when you're doing this is don't panic. You can fix anything, and if your text goes a little crazy, don't let it get to you. So after that, I've got these two little marks right here with a little diamond on them. And when I get close to them, I get a kind of a symbol under my cursor that tells me that if I move this one that I've got right now, just like this, I'm pushing the text ahead of it. So I'm going to bring that over and line it up on this kind of perpendicular to the center node. And this one here, this moves the text the other direction. So I'm going to actually pass this and bring this over and bring this one up like that. Now there's the line that's just straight up and down right here. And if I were to grab that and push that up, you can see that as soon as I cross the line with it, it actually changes where my name is. And it moves pretty fast, and it takes a little bit of practice to really be able to control it. So it's kind of a trial and error thing. You'll move these two things, these two, you know, the margin bars right here, and then you're going to move the orientation bar, which is this one right here. So that's my name going that way, okay, up on that circle. Now I think it'd be really cool if this were white. So I think That looks a little bit better than that heavy black. And then I'm going to put my high school and the year that I graduated down here on the bottom. So to do that, I actually need another text tool, because if I were to type right now, it would come in upside down, but I need a wider text tool to do the right side up lettering, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. So again, I'm going over to the ellipse. I'm going to hover on the center right here, hold down the Option and the Shift, and this time when I pull this out, the circle out, I want the circle's edge to line up with the top of my capital letters and my ascenders on my lowercase. So see how it's lining up with the E, the K, the B, the L's, right like that. We'll just bring it in a little bit. Okay. Now this guy had a fill on it, so I'm going to swap it. If I go, I can swap it up here for sure, up in the options bar, but I'm going to go down to the bottom of the toolbar under the magnifying glass and off to the right. There's a little bent arrow. I'm going to click on that bent arrow, and now I get the line. And again, it doesn't really matter, but I'm doing it more or less for alignment purposes. Now it's time to type on this. So I'm going to go back to my text tool, click on it, move the text tool over across that new line that I just made, and click on that to select it. And again, don't get too worked up about what you see out here. Just type in what you need to have. So I graduated from Century High, believe it or not. And yes, they actually did have a Century High in 1983. You can do the math. So now I'll go back to my selection tool. That's right up here at the top. And I'm going to go to my margins and move those into position. And then I'll go to my orientation bar and shift it down so that this is actually on the inside. And I can kind of scooch this around. If I grab the orientation, I can move this right down into position just like that. And if I turn the color to white, now I have a frame for a mugshot if I wanted to put one in. But I would like all of you guys to try this. Try to type, make some type go on one side of the circle, on the other side, and see if you can keep it aligned with a ring of some kind. So there you go. Good luck.